And finally tonight, our very own Stephen Henderson, you know that guy sitting right over there, is partnering with Marygrove College on a project that will help revitalize a Detroit neighborhood with the help of a Knight Foundation grant. Stephen's childhood home will be transformed into a writer's residence and literary center. The home at 7124 Tuxedo has been ransacked and gutted, adding to the blight in the neighborhood. But the house will be restored, and Marygrove will hire an English professor who will live there, teach at the college, and then run the literary center for the community. This is a really ambitious project, and both, like Nolan and I were both really proud of you.
Yeah, you were just reading, and I'm like, really? I'm going to do all of that?
You're going to do all of that?
Is that really going to happen?
Well, Nolan and I are really, really proud of you, and it was great to see this all kind of unfold.
And we're getting him a tube out for Christmas.
I can't wait to see this.
Start working on the house.
So why don't you go ahead and just kind of explain to us a little bit about how you even had this idea to rehab?
Well, I mean, the house has sat there for 3 years empty and been stripped, and I've, over that time, gotten to know more about what happened to that neighborhood since I lived there, which is a really long time ago. And of course, it's a place that has suffered the same kind of abandonment and disinvestment as most neighborhoods in Detroit have. I got to know the folks at St. Cecilia Church again, which is around the corner from the house, and saw the things that they were doing. And over time came to the idea that I should do something, that living here and contributing to the city the way that I do at the newspaper and through media is maybe not quite all I want to do. That what would happen if one person looked back to where they were from at one house on a single block in a single neighborhood and said, let's change the fortunes here and see what else might happen. And so I went to Marygrove because I knew of their commitment to Detroit neighborhoods, and their student population is made up of people from neighborhoods just like that, a lot of them. And I thought, they might want to help. They said they did. So we came up with this idea.
You know, one of the interesting things to me is for years you've heard sort of white people in the suburbs say, I drove by my old house, I grew up in Detroit, or my mother's old house in Detroit. Oh no, it's a shame what happened to it. Now you're hearing, you know, like yourself, African Americans saying the same things. People who haven't left Detroit but are going back to neighbors, and it just speaks to sort of the generational blight. This has been going on a long time.
Forever. It's my entire life, the span of that, the decline of that neighborhood, and many neighborhoods like it.
So do you believe that, how long, what's your timeline, I guess, in terms of fixing up that house and then finding someone to actually live there in that neighborhood?
Well, we still actually have to raise quite a bit of money. The money that Knight is going to give us will pay for the first 2 years of the salary of the professor, so we still need to raise more money to keep that professor longer, and we need to raise the money to fix the house. We're starting now to think about that. The Knight grant helps, of course. One person gets in, and then it's easier to go to other people and say, you should help us too. But we're hoping to have the professor in the house teaching at the college by the fall of 2017. Which gives us about a year or so to raise the money and do the work on the house.
Don't you get that woman who comes in and does the TV show rebuilding Detroit?
Yeah, Nicole Curtis.
Why doesn't she come do it?
I don't know. I have not heard from her.
You should put in. That'd be a good project.
She could do it all, and we wouldn't have to raise the money.
So, what is, I guess, the reaction to your story, Ben, from people? Have they said, like, that's inspired me to maybe take a look at my childhood home and do it, or has it been like, that's kind of crazy, there's no way you're going to be able to do this?
It's the range, I think, of all of those things. The most interesting to me has been other people from that neighborhood reaching out and saying, hey, you know, I grew up around the corner from there, or I grew up across the street, and I remember your dad, or I remember your mom living there, and people saying, well, what do you need, right? What do you need to make this happen? I mean, the willingness of people to pitch in with work or with money has been really overwhelming in the last week and a half.
It would be terrific if DPS were functional enough to make this a voc ed project. I mean, you've got hundreds and hundreds of construction jobs now coming into the city through the Arena project, other big projects, and we aren't training Detroit children
to be able
in
to do
the
that.
trades, and those are really good middle class jobs. And I mean, they're vocational centers like Randolph, sitting basically empty now. This would be a great project for
them to work on.
High school voc
You know, one of the
ed team.
interesting things in that neighborhood is there used to be 3 public schools within, I don't know, 10 blocks of that house to our 0. Now they're all closed, most of them torn down because of the depopulation. I
They
mean,
still
it's
playing
just,
basketball at St.
They
Cecilia's?
do still play basketball at St. Cecilia. And I believe there's going to be a pretty big investment in that institution too, so that will help bolster the neighborhood as well.
That's great. Well, you know, we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and while I am both thankful for both of you here on MiWeek, I am. I always love to go see the parade. We've been downtown a couple times to see it, or I watch it on television, and both of you are going to be there this year. And Nolan, what are you doing this year in the parade?
I am driving Mother Goose.
Again, if someone said to me, you know someone who is driving a float in the parade, who is it? Your name would be on the bottom of the list.
There you go. I went to float driving school Saturday. You can see a video of it on detectnews.com up today. It's not as easy as it looks.
No, it doesn't look easy. Those things are
There's no windshield.
unwieldy.
You're not looking out at, you're just driving off a video screen, and you've got a guy walking in front of the float, walking backwards saying, come this way, go that way. And
Don't take out any of the clowns or
Well,
anything that are doing the.
I don't worry
you know.
about that. I don't want to run over that guy because I can't go without him.
That's right. Okay, and you are the honorary
I'm
Grand
the
Marshal.
Honorary Grand Marshal. So I just have to ride in a car. I don't get to drive it.
Do you have like a pageant wave or something you got for
I
us? or?
told the children, I told my kids, practice the wave, right? At
Right.
the crowd. They they might do it, they might not.
I love it. Well, happy Thanksgiving to both of you. We'll be looking for both of you in the parade next Thursday. And that is going to do it for MiWeek. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to continue our conversation online right after the show. So go to myweek.org for an extra segment that you won't see on TV. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, and that's where Stephen is already. He's already picked up the phone, so make sure you connect with us there. I'm Christy McDonald. Take care. We'll see you next week.